I climb up the hill and reach my house. The lights are already on, which means Sakura and Fujini are home. The moment I step into the living room, I smell the delicious aroma of dinner. Sakura and Fujini are both eating at the table. Tonight's meal is chicken stewed in cream sauce, and it's put Fujini in an especially good mood. Welcome home, Senpai. Please excuse us for eating ahead of you. Thanks, and sorry for being late. I should have come home earlier. That's fine, you still made it in time. Please wait while I prepare your plates. Okay, thanks. I'll go wash up. So keep an eye on Fujini to make sure she doesn't eat my portion. Ah, thank you, Bup. It's kind of you to say. Yes, I'll do that. I go to my room. It's a sparse room compared to the storehouse, but it's still decorated enough considering I don't have any particular hobbies. Though most of them are random things, Fujini just left here. After I wash my hands and change, I head back to see my food on the table. Thank you for the meal. Please dig in. I hope you like it. Sakura is humble as ever. Sakura's cooking skills have vastly improved over the past year. My cooking is no match for her Western foods. My Japanese dishes might be a little better. Neither of us is any good at making Chinese dishes. I'm glad to know she's improving, but it's also a little depressing when the pupil surpasses her master. Well, it's not depressing. That's where you want to be. That's the desired endpoint, right? And if the people never surpass the master, then that means humanity, you'd be on a downwards trajectory over time in terms of skills and whatnot. It'd be like, sort of like how, in the Lord of the Rings universe, it's premise someone on, magic is, slowly fading, and each generation is, successively less impressive than the last. You don't want that to happen. You want the student to rise beyond the heights of those who came before. And you stand on the shoulders of giants, as opposed to, falling off. It really is delicious. The longer you cook chicken, the tougher the meat gets. Which is why you need to take the extra step of grilling the chicken to a crisp to seal in its juices and flavor. This requires exceptional skill, and it's something the clumsy Fujini would never be able to manage. What do you think, Senpai? I think today's dish turned out quite well. No complaints here. The cream sauce is perfect. My cooking can't hold a candle to your Western dishes. Yep. Ever since Sakura started cooking, all her meat dishes have gotten better. Fujini, who's been concentrating on her meal until now, pipes up. And you're in trouble, Shiro. A student shouldn't stay out so late at night. I was busy. I was helping some folks out, doing my brother a solid. She looked to be in good spirits thanks to Sakura's meal, but the moment she sees my face, her mood turns sour. I bet you're helping someone again. That's fine, but you really should be coming home early for now. Don't you remember my homeroom announcement about how it's not been safe lately? Well, yeah, but I'm a thick-skulled, bone-headed teen guy. I'm invincible. Nothing bad's gonna happen to me. I'm speaking directly to you, Shiro. You really don't need to make a homeroom announcement for something you can just tell me at home. Right? Just tell me at home in my room. You wouldn't listen if I told you here, though. You're more likely to listen if I tell you at school. That's just because I'm, obligated to. That seems like an abuse of authority. Or at least mixing business with private matters. Nope, this is just what I have to do to make things sink in for Shiro. He always gets the short end of the stick because he's busy helping everyone. That idiot should come straight home once in a while and relax a bit. Who are you calling an idiot? What's wrong with helping people? I'm not losing out on anything as long as someone benefits from my help. You're starting to sound like Kiritsugu. That mindset has your big sister worried, Shiro. Seeing Fujini eating so heartily makes you wonder what exactly she's worried about. Miss Fujimura, just from that conversation, are you saying Senpai has always been like this? Yep, always. He's the type who would lend a helping hand whenever there's someone in need. It's not that he meddles in things, but he's always been a bit precocious. Fujini grins menacingly. Fujini, I'm going to get mad if you say anything you shouldn't. And you shouldn't ask such silly questions, Sakura. I glare at the two. Fujini clicks her tongue in disapproval, but... Miss Fujimura, please continue. Sakura presses on like an attentive student. Then let me explain. You see, Shiro can't just help himself when he sees someone in need. It's like helping the weak and subduing the strong. When he was younger, he wrote an essay that said he wanted to be a hero of justice. This joke, can you believe it? I know, it's so cringe. I'm sorry, Sakura. Quit bringing up the past, Fujini. Can't really jump in, though, because... it's true. Besides, becoming a hero of justice is still my goal. You know, I'll be like a police officer or something. Wow, you're a really wonderful child, Senpai. Yep, it was astonishing. He was swooping to rescue a little girl from getting bullied by a boy twice her age. He tried his hardest at doing housework because Kiritsugu was such a slob at home. Aw, he was so cute and innocent back then. I'm not sure I got to be the stubborn, disobedient boy he is today. That's on you, Fujini. That's what happens with children when they have bad role models. And if you want to say something to that, try making an entire meal all on your own. Fujini is shocked. I thought she would just lower her head and repent, but... Big sister's so sad. Sakura thirds, please. She holds out her rice bowl, asking for a third helping of dinner. Man, we really savaged her there. We relax after dinner, and it's almost 9 o'clock. Well, what should I do? There's still some time before my evening training. I guess I can walk Sakura home, hang out with Fujini, or rest. Well, I wouldn't want to hang out with a bad role model. Though maybe I should kind of smooth things over. We really did roast her at dinner. And resting is fine. Although, I mean, it's supposedly dangerous out, and I did literally mention on my way home that I probably shouldn't have Sakura walking home alone anymore. So I should walk Sakura home. Yeah, that's the gentlemanly thing to do. I think that's the obvious correct answer here. I haven't thanked Sakura for cooking dinner yet, so I should talk to Sakura. It's getting late, so I should walk her home. Sakura just finished cleaning up, and she's in the living room getting ready to go home. Oh, Senpai, I thought you were taking your bath. I'll take my bath later, after I walk you home. You're going to walk me home? Yeah, it's been dangerous at night lately, so I'll walk you home. Your house is a pretty long walk, so let me at least do this, since you go out of your way to come here. Sakura purses her lips awkwardly. Did I say something wrong?
I'm sorry, I appreciate a concern, but you should rest. I'm on my way home from here, and I should be fine alone.
Girl, someone was like literally murdered the other day. Go on, let me do this for you. Maybe so, but it really hasn't been safe recently. I'll get home at night for a while.
But, well, it'll cause trouble for you if my brother sees you.
Your brother, trouble, come on. What's the worst he could do to me? I forgot. Sakura's older brother, Shinji, doesn't really like Sakura coming over to my place. I mean, I guess fair enough, especially since we seem to have had a falling out of some type. But I'm a gentleman. Come on, you can trust me with your sister. I assure you, I have nothing but the most honest, innocent, innocuous intentions with your sister, sir. He can't say much because Sakura says she goes to Fujini's house, but me taking her home might cause problems. Like, I'll just walk you home, like 90% of the way there, and like hide around the corner once we get to your block or something. Alright, it's easy, easy. Problem solved. I don't care if Shinji accuses me of something I didn't actually do, but I don't want him taking it out on Sakura. Wouldn't be a problem if I only walked you halfway, right? There's no way we'll see Shinji at the intersection. Sakura is uncomfortably silent. Knowing Sakura, she probably couldn't even lie about the fact that I walked her home. Hey, then how about... Want me to walk her home? An English teacher wearing tiger stripes suddenly pokes her head through the door. That really doesn't fix anything. My concern is that a girl's walking alone at night, so adding another girl would be, I mean, there's strength in numbers, I guess, but, you know, fundamentally, you know, having a male present would be ideal. Wait a minute. Calling Fujini a girl might be a bit of a misnomer. There's a reason Fujini is the teacher in charge of the Kyoto Club. It all goes back to the Kyoto Club, it would seem. She was trained by old man Fujimura in Kendo, and her 5th rank designation makes her deadly. Literally and figuratively. I guess it wouldn't be a problem if you went, Fujini. I bet you could beat the crap out of any perverts who might try to strike. Of course I can. That's why walking Sakura home is not a problem. Are you good with it, Sakura? Yes, as long as it's okay with you. That settles it. Let's get going. I was just thinking I should go home too. Fujini takes Sakura's hand and starts to leave. Oh, hold on a minute, Sakura.
What is it, Senpai?
Dinner was good. Thank you.
Of course, as long as you don't mind, I will keep working on my cooking, Senpai.
Sakura beams and leaves the living room. I can tell my cheeks are burning red. Honestly, Sakura takes me by surprise a lot lately. It's perplexing. Time sure flies. Not so long ago, she was just my friend's little sister. Now I find sometimes I can't quite look away from her. I'm so pathetic. I've always thought of Sakura as being like family, but I can't seem to readily accept this change. And that is how my day ends. Just before midnight, Shiro and Miya must perform the daily routine of utilizing CMeeCraft. I cross my legs, take my position, and regulate my breathing. I try to empty my mind. I ignore everything around me and turn my focus inward. Trace on. I mutter the familiar incantation as if putting myself in a spell. No, this is a kind of hypnosis. With no magic crests and no magical knowledge, the incantation I mutter is really just a way to focus myself and change my body. Typically, humans do not have any lines which allow magical energies to pass through their body. To temporarily change my body to create a pseudo version of the lines, I need enough concentration to unify my entire physical and nervous system. MageCraft is a battle with yourself. For example, I insert a burning steel rod into my backbone. What? The steel rod itself is the one and only magic circuits I can prepare for myself. By passing this deep within my body and connecting it to my other nerves, I can finally be a mage. What? Hold on. So I've got a steel rod that I've just stabbed into my back? Am I reading this right? Isn't that like a terrible injury? This is not a metaphor. Okay, thanks for clarifying. And if you look closely, a series of metal rods which cannot normally be seen or touched pierced my backbone. I'm a magician. Kiritsugi Emiya was a mage. He was a true mage who disciplined himself with a wide variety of mystics, plumbed the deeper secrets of the world and its workings, and even performed miracles. And as a young child, I admired Kiritsugu and begged him to teach me magecraft. Not a literal steel rod. I don't know. It said it didn't it just say it was literally a steel rod. But you can't just become a mage. You have to be born with talent and inherit a tremendous amount of knowledge. I obviously never had that inborn talent, and Kiritsugu never imparted any knowledge on magecraft to me. I was told it wasn't necessary for me, something like that. I still don't understand what he meant by that. But it didn't matter to me as a child. I always thought learning magecraft would bring me that much closer to being like Kiritsugu. I was blessed neither with talents, that is, an abundance of magic circuits within me, nor was generations of magecraft knowledge handed down to me. The magecraft Kiritsugu possessed, the magic crest passed down from the Emiya family, can only be passed on to a blood relative. A magic crest, which is proof of one's a mage, rejects any non-blood related relative. Anyone not blood related. Anyways, as an adopted son, I could not receive the Emiya family's crest. And then again, since I honestly don't have any idea what the hell a magic crest even is, it doesn't matter much whether I have one or not. Okay, so then the not a metaphor was a metaphor. Gotcha. It's just a matter of gaining the ability. If I want to be a mage, I just have to learn magecraft that suits the traits that I do have. Magecraft is, taken to its extreme, a skill supposedly meant to release magical energy. You could say that magical energy is a life force. Magical energy is separated into two sources: mana, which comes from the world's atmosphere, and odd, which is created within living creatures. Obviously, mana, which comes from the world itself, is superior to odd. The sheer power of the world's mana is simply not even comparable to the odd one human can create. No matter the form it takes, magecraft utilizing mana will always surpass anything created from an individual's odd. So a powerful mage is one who excels at drawing magical energy from the world. It's a lot like a filtration system. A mage will use their own body's circuits to draw in mana from outside and convert it into something usable. Mages call the circuits they use to accomplish this magic circuits. This is the inborn talent part. The number of magic circuits one has is determined at the moment of birth. Typically, humans have hardly any magic circuits. They're normally quite rare. That's why mages will spend generations trying to ensure their descendants have a body more suitable for magic. Some families even go as far as to practice selective breeding in order to increase the number of magic circuits in their children. And since I was raised in a normal family, I never had a chance of having much in the way of magic circuits. That left me only one option. According to Kiritsugu, everyone is well suited to one specific form of magecraft. He also said something about drawing out magical energy based on the person's origin, but I never quite understood that part. What I do understand is that even someone like me can use at least one form of magecraft. If I can do that, then maybe I can be like Kiritsugu. And that's why I've only learned this one magecraft. That's why 8 years ago, or that was 8 years ago. Oh. Well, looks like my secondary computer is turned off. Hopefully that won't be a problem. After a lot of thought, Kiritsugu took me on as his disciple, though he never seemed happy about it. I see. So Shiro is not competent, so the explanation from his POV is always a little off. Gotcha. So it would be like if I was talking to some like a doctor that didn't actually ever have formal training, so they don't actually know any of the specific terminologies and whatnot. Is that what you're saying? And they might have some misunderstandings of how things actually work at the root level. Listen, Shiro. Learning magecraft means leaving behind common sense. You die when the end comes for you, and you kill when you must. Life isn't at the core of what we do. Death is. Magecraft is walking the path of self-destruction. I guess I knew no fear as a child. Kiritsugu smiled bitterly, placing a hand atop my head as I nodded enthusiastically. What I'm about to teach you is the sort of thing that could cause conflict. So you should never use it in front of anyone. And you should never forget your training, because it's difficult. And again, you don't really need to follow it either. The most important thing is that you always remember that magecraft is to be used for others, not for yourself. And that would make you simply a user of magecraft, rather than a mage. I guess Kiritsugu didn't want me to be a mage. But I didn't care about that. I admired Kiritsugu, not mages. As long as I can be the sort of person who lives to help others, like Kiritsugu on that day of fire and nightmare. I got distracted. I feel the uncomfortable sensation of the iron rod in my backbone moving where it shouldn't. Losing control of my breathing now would be fatal. The pseudo-magic circuits would overwhelm my body and shred it to pieces. And that would be the end of me. Shiro Amiya would simply be a novice who died because he failed at an elementary step. I grit my teeth and try to recover my connection. After pain, like walking through a storm of needles, the iron rod finally sinks deep within my body and fuses with me. I've been working on this for a little over an hour. And after all that time, I'm finally able to create one pseudo-circuit. A circuit capable of creating magical energy using my own self. Basic structure analyze. All that's left is to allow the magical energy to flow naturally. Shiro Amiya is no mage. He's just a user of magecraft who can only create magical energy within his body and channel it into objects. And that's why I can only do one thing with this magecraft. Which is... composition. Analyze. Enhancing objects. It's just strengthening a magecraft, where I apprehend an object's structure and channel magical energy to temporarily reinforce its abilities. Basic structure. Altar. I hold a broken iron piece, or iron pipe rather. I pass magical energy through it to execute the most basic magecraft to enhance its durability. Passing magical energy into something other than yourself is like mixing poison. That's an encouraging analogy. My blood is a far cry from the blood of an iron pipe. Forcing an entirely different sort of blood through an object may well destroy it rather than enhance it. Okay. To prevent that from happening, I need to properly understand an object's structure and pass magical energy into it between the small vacant spaces. Composition, reinforce. This may be easy for a skilled mage, but since I have a hard time generating magical energy in the first place, even a task like this is as difficult as shooting an arrow and hitting a target several hundred meters from you. Typical archery target is 28 meters away. So it goes without saying how hard it would be to hit a target at 10 times that distance. My body temperature suddenly plummets. The fiery pillar passing through my backbone disappears and my lungs seize in desperate need of oxygen. My back arches in an effort to keep me from passing out. Damn! I failed again! The iron pipe is unchanged. The magical energy I passed into it appears to have disappeared, or dispersed, rather. Damn. Adding to something that already has a set form is hard. What I'm attempting to do is like adding an extra brushwork to a completed work of art. Adding something extra to a completed object raises the risk of compromising the object's integrity. The paintbrush, hoping to improve, may actually devalue the work instead. Which is why, despite its simplicity, strengthening magecraft is so difficult, and not many mages willingly use it. And it's not that I chose this, but it's really all I can do. It would be much easier if I could make something from shapeless clay, but a substitute that just recreates its form is all show and no substance. Which explains all the junk around. Whenever I've failed strengthening magecraft, I try to make substitute objects to practice and calm down on, but they all end up empty. I can visualize the structure of an object easily, and I can recreate something very similar, but it's hollow, and obviously doesn't function at all. I wipe the sweat off my brow. I realize I'm absolutely dripping with sweat. If this is as bad as it got, I should consider myself lucky. But what happened earlier was really bad. Had I taken even a second longer to recover my internal organs, would probably be mush about now. Only pushing myself to the brink of death helped me improve. There'd be some hope here. But nothing comes that easily. At the same time, fear of death will stand in the way of improving my magecraft. Learning magecraft means courting death at every turn. Even rudimentary, everyday magecraft can spin wildly out of control from a single mistake ending the caster's life. The very first thing a mage must do is resolve to accept death. Kurtsugu always looked sad whenever he brought that up. Maybe it was his way of saying that he didn't want me getting into any of this. Saving one person means not saving someone else. Being a hero of justice means you need to be an extremely egocentric person. That was always his line. Kurtsugu always said that whenever I mentioned wanting to be like him. I still don't know what he meant by that. All I'm certain of is that I want to save people. To be a hero of justice. Like Kurtsugu Emiya. But I can't even manage the basics. I'm such an idiot for letting myself get distracted at the most crucial moment. It's not enough for me to just grasp at the object's structure visually. A skilled mage would be able to focus only on the crucial areas and efficiently channel magic energy. My dream is to become a hero of justice. I remember what Fujini mentioned at dinner. I never really thought of that goal as embarrassing or impossible. That Shiro Imiya will succeed, Kiritsugu Imiya has already been decided. That's why I've been doing everything I can, despite how sorely I lack in experience. I don't know exactly what it means to be a hero of justice, but because I don't know, I've trained myself to the best of my abilities in hopes I'll be useful to somebody. I haven't taken my eye off that goal these past 5 years, but whenever things go wrong like this, I start to have doubts. I just don't get it, old man. What the hell do I have to do to be a hero of justice? I look up at the sky through a window. It's not just about being good for something out of the blue. Or for someone out of the blue. Saving someone and being a hero of justice are two different things. I know that, but what do I have to do different to differentiate them? I've yet to understand that crucial concept for the past 5 years. Save the game? Yeah, let's save. Sure, why not? Alright, we're on February 1st. I wake to darkness. I guess I'm not much for dreaming. Unless something big happens, I always have the same dream anyway. I always envision a sword. I have no idea why, but that's the only thing that pops into my head. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Perhaps this is what defines you as, well, me? As Shiro Miya? I don't have any dreams of my own. The only things on my mind while I sleep are what others taught me long ago. For example, on how to be a mage. Even if I'm not a full-fledged mage, it's only natural for a mage to be aware of the world they're in. Put simply, a mage is an irregular, an outcast from society. But even outcasts need to band together to survive. My old man told me there is a society of mages called a Mages Association. He also told me I shouldn't ever get involved with them. The Mages Association is said to conceal the existence of MageCraft and manage mages. The Mages Association watches over mages and makes sure their MageCraft doesn't affect society. But the strange thing is that they don't really prohibit mages from abusing MageCraft either. According to Kiritsugu, the Mage Association is only interested in concealing mystics. Even if, say, a mage carried out an experiment that sacrificed, let's say, a lot of citizens, the association wouldn't punish them. Their priorities are expressly in preventing the public from becoming aware of MageCraft, which does not mean MageCraft is completely banned. Honestly, anything goes as long as the truth doesn't come out. At least that seems to be how that insane bunch conducts themselves. Whatever it is, the Mages Association surveillance is absolute. Typical MageCraft research sacrifices the lives of ordinary humans, which in turn risks revealing the existence of MageCraft to the world. As such, the Mages Association doesn't permit research that would harm society. Well, that's good. At least we're not in, like, mid-20th century levels of, like, no ethics or standards for science. That's something. Ultimately, mages conduct their research in their privacy of their homes, while the world is none the wiser. So mages sometimes go into hiding to escape the association's scrutiny and oversight. So there may be some mages living in this town, and I just don't know it. I also hear Fuyuki is a spiritual hotspot of sorts. That probably means there's some prestigious mage with a storied history living here. They're called second owners. Elite mages, the association entrusts to watch over territory. Other mages who live in the same area must visit the second owners first to get permission to build their workshops. My old man was an outlaw who cut ties with the association and moved here without the consent of Fuyuki's second owner. So in a way, our family is a bunch of trespassers living in a house without permission from the landlord. Which means the second owner doesn't know that Kiritsuga Miya was a mage. So I tend to feel like our family's status as mages is kind of unclear. But then my old man, the bona fide mage, died. And even though I'm his disciple and son, I don't know a thing about the Mage Association, and have no real knowledge about being a mage. I have a feeling the association would want to dispose of someone like me, but they haven't made any sort of move. Apparently the Mages Association doesn't have many eyes in Japan, so that's probably why they haven't been found yet. But that doesn't mean I can let my guard down. The eyes of the Mages Association are said to be everywhere, and if someone commits a crime using MageCraft, the church's heretic hunters will make their move. Using MageCraft, however half-assed you may be about it, makes you enemies. So, with all that in mind, I honestly just want to study being a mage on my own.